Sorry, better without the hat?
I usually keep the hat.
Yeah, I like the hat.
Hat's going back
I
on.
like that. Chapel, you stay out of it, buddy.
Chapel, you can be here. Do you want to be up in my lap, Chapel? Come on. Come on, Chapel.
So we're going?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kyle, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's going to a family dinner and typically has a lot of prying questions from family members, like about their diet or about, how come they haven't lost weight yet? Things like that.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if that's an appropriate question. So we're talking about boundaries and personal boundaries. I love I love this subject. And it's a very important subject in fitness because, people are trying different things and it's really no one's business, what we do, what we eat, it's no one's business, how we spend our time and all that. And yet, society hasn't really caught on yet that it's not okay to ask why are you eating that? And why haven't you lost weight? Or why have you lost weight? Those are, in 20 years, people won't be asking that kind of stuff. People would be a little more sensitive. But for now, since people aren't super sensitive to boundaries around this stuff. So here's some advice on on how to diffuse some of those questions. I mean, honesty is usually the best policy, and just being straight up, having a crucial conversation or having that awkward conversation in advance, I don't know if you want to shoot out an email to all your loved ones and just be like, hey, so for this holiday, I'm trying to eat a little bit better. Just so you don't, ask me a bunch of questions at dinner table, here's the thing, I'm probably not going to eat a lot of bread, I'm probably going to eat mostly vegetables. And that could go a long way, maybe. Or it could spark a positive dialogue over email or in person or something. And then they kind of know the story, and then maybe when you are, or this person is making a healthy choice at dinner time or something, people say, oh yeah, I got your email, so you're doing that thing, good job, how's that going? Instead of a prying question what is all this? The person's already on board and up to speed with the story. Is hey, I know what you're doing. That's cool. You might actually get, and there's maybe a 10% chance, or out of the cohort, you might get 10% of your family on board and I want to do that too. Actually, can you tell me what you're doing, and I can, maybe I can eat that way too.
And do you suggest having that conversation over dinner?
I mean, it's up to you what you sort of talk about around dinner. If you proactively sort of put it out there, people are less likely to ask questions. You can even say in that email, don't ask me about what I'm doing. I don't like talking about it. So that could diffuse it a little bit. Or you don't do that sort of proactive communication, but you have some quick, short snippets ready to deliver when people ask you questions like, oh, why are you eating that? You're just that's how I eat now.
Right, very to the point.
Something like that, yeah. Or it's oh yeah, I don't feel like it, and then sometimes I'll even recommend to my clients, I'm just lie. If you can't bother with a honest story, just go ahead and lie. It's your boundaries, it's none of their business anyways. Just I'm on medication, or I'm allergic to this or that. That can backfire if you have lied in the past and they've busted you on it. They're oh, there's crazy so-and-so lying again about this, trying to hide something. So that can backfire on you. But if you've never lied before, maybe this is the time that you do it. Ultimately, we want everyone to enjoy, the holidays, and it's a stressful time when you're trying to make different choices.
Do you recommend keeping red light foods out of your house over the holidays too?
Trigger foods, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whether it's Captain Crunch, Ginger Snap cookies, wine gums, these are things that I sometimes trigger with. Yeah, you don't want them in your house because a trigger food by definition is one you can't control. Whereas a couple years ago, my wife and I, we had a bag of Skittles. First of all, it was left over from the movies, and then it just stayed in the cupboard, and we had a few a week, and it just kind of lasted forever. And I was like, man, that's really interesting. We're not just crushing that bag of the Skittles and finishing it. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So that was not a trigger food. Mm-hmm. And your trigger food list will change. As your relationship with food gets better, your trigger food list should get smaller. Yeah, don't keep that in the house.
Cool. And what about making time for workouts during the holidays?
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Man, it's so important. So I've been exercising half my life, and I've been a fitness professional 12 years. And so it's if I don't work out in a day, I'm that doesn't feel right. But most people watching this video or our clients, it's like they're just not there. They're just not there, and it's like if they don't work out on a holiday day, that's fine. Like, let's pick it up. We'll go hard in January. You know, don't feel bad about it. But yeah, ideally, if it's a long walk you get in or some push-ups, like metabolically speaking, super important, and for your joints, super important.
That's kind of what I wanted to ask. I know you often recommend like kitchen push-ups or like do as many squats as you can, things like that. Like how much impact will that really have on somebody?
Well, first of all, those type of exercises, even though they might not burn a lot of calories like that day, they will cue your muscles to stay swole, like, and to keep your strength and keep like your sort of strength gains. That little bit can actually do that, and that's important sort of for long term. You might deflect like a few hundred calories by some of these movements, and if you're already watching what you're eating, those couple hundred calories, that is important. It is important for that day. Furthermore, the habit of training every day, that gets built through a struggle of the holidays. And furthermore, beyond that, your efficacy will go up. It's like, wow, that was the first Christmas that I ever did push-ups or I ever worked out at all on the holidays. Wow, man, maybe I really am taking this seriously. Maybe I am really going to be successful. And that starts to get that confidence going. And so, man, all those things are super important.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching. If you want any more holiday tips, you can download my holiday survival guide. There should be a link in the description down below.
Oh, and what about people who are thinking about starting up in January?
Right. If you do want to go hard in January, watch my social channels. We have a couple of exciting programs starting with Elle and Jeremy and Renita and my team, and you can see them on my team page of KyleByerNutrition.com. But we're putting all our resources together, and we're coming up with a great transformation program. So people who are like really serious about nutrition, body composition, relationships with food, IBS, that kind of stuff. So you can tell that I'm very excited about that. So that'll be launching middle of January. So thanks for reminding me.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching. Happy holidays.
Bye.